All right. I know it's been a while. Welcome back to the shop. One of my shorts has been getting a lot of attention about the turbo Silverado. A lot of people ask me what's all done to it, how to do it, all that good stuff. So I figured I'd make a small vlog, so to speak, and talk to you about turbocharging your V6 Silverado while you watch me tear apart my transmission for the second time. It just seemed rather fitting. So what's all done to it? Well, there's obviously the turbo. The head's been ported, just the intake side of the head, so I ported up. Really more of a gasket match and a port polish. I mean, they are substantially larger, but I tried not to modify the track as much as possible because I've read that Vortec heads don't respond well to porting. And I also had to I also gasket matched the intake ports on the manifold and the heads together. Which took me a while. And then I'm using the stock plastic intake manifold. And you can see right here, I welded a V-band clamp to the top of my stock throttle body after a quick rebuild on the throttle body of new sensors, and painted it up, cleaned it up real good. And I also cut the throttle buffer out. If you're a V6 guy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I've got a Amazon turbo on there. Only paid $112 for it. And I bought two because I was originally going to twin charge it, but then I realized I wasn't that good at fabricating. And you can see I'm using, well, if you can't see, it's not good light. Just using the you can see it on the other side. Just using the not Amazon. I got these on eBay. The exhaust headers. I had to make a custom downpipe. Made it out of 304 stainless. Then I got a Flowmaster Super 10, more 304 2.5 inch stainless, and it comes out right there under the quarter panel. I'm not sure how the camera's picking that up. It's dark in here. Yeah, it's completely custom. And then the bottom end is actually pretty nice, whereas I put 30 over forged pistons in it, which I've got them in a box. I'll show you. See, nobody makes dedicated V6 parts, but we're lucky that the Vortec 350 and the Vortec 262, you know, the 4.3, use the exact same pistons. So these are what I put in mine. Hopefully you can see the part number on there. I don't know if they still make these, but they're just Summit Racing forged flat tops with a mild valve relief in them. And they're supposed to be free floating or full floating wrist pins, but the stock rods are press fit wrist pins, so I had a machine shop just press them on the way they were from factory, and I've probably put almost 80,000 miles on it since I've built it, I mean, I drive the piss out of it. I was driving it every day until the transmission started acting up. But yeah, forged flat top pistons. I'm calculating somewhere around a 9.8 to 1 compression ratio. And like I said, these are 30 over. But like I said, buy a 8 piston set. Be way cheaper than trying to order a custom set, from like Mall or Summit or whatever. I even asked if I could order this kit with just 6 pistons, and they said no. But it is what it is. And then I've got some other pictures and stuff of the assembly I'll try and cut in here while I'm showing you the parts. But this is the cam that I got. But for some reason now, if you look up this part number, it brings up a V8 LS or a LT cam or something. I don't think Lunati makes this anymore, but that is the cam that I bought. This is the stock cam that I have in the box. That's, you know, like any other race car guy, I am a parts hoarder. But here's a good talking point, which I'll probably put together a video of all the specifics. But someone asked if the counterbalance shaft models, if they can hold power, which I don't know if they can. I've put almost 500 pound-foot of torque down before with my current build, so they can handle a little bit of low end torque. But I spin mine to about 65. Right now I've got it tuned for 6,000 RPM, and it handles it just fine. But one thing to note between the Lunati cam and the stock cam is that since these are fuel injected ECM controlled engines, obviously the cam gear, the distributor drive gear on the cam is located in a specific position that the Lunati cam was not. So when you go to put your distributor in the Vortec motor, the stock hold down needs to be modified to allow adjustment like an old school distributor hold down, because you'll have to twist it a good 10 to 20 degrees if you buy any other camshaft that's not a stock camshaft. Because if this isn't lined up, and if you've ever stabbed your distributor in one of these trucks, you know exactly what I mean. The distributor needs to be set in a specific orientation so that the electronic sensors and everything work. But then when you have one of these, or I'm sorry, aftermarket cam, where the gear isn't in the right spot because they didn't pay attention to something like that, because it was made for like a carbureted old motor, you have to modify your hold down so that you can twist the distributor to match the offset in your aftermarket cam. But thankfully I do kind of know my cam specs off the top of my head. It was a I believe it was a 265. It was a 265 duration on the intake, a 270 duration on the exhaust, and both the intake and exhaust were 512 thousandths lift, and then it had a lobe separation angle of 108 or 109, so it actually does chop if you tune it a certain way. With the modern ECM and its idle controls, you don't really hear it, but you can kind of bypass the idle controls and it will really lope and chop. I have a video of that. I'll see if I can cut that in. But then when you put in a nice big old camshaft, you're going to want some new valve springs. These are the originals. Again, I'm a parts hoarder. But the LU3 4.3 liter Vortec uses a LS valve train, so you can use LS springs, retainers. It even uses, which I think it's been the same for 40 years, but it uses the LS valve stem wipers. So if you can't find a V6 set, ask for a 5.3 liter set and it'll be the same, and you get 2 or 4 extras. But yeah, I put the Lunati recommended Just make a mess with it. The Lunati recommended valve spring kit to go with the. This is the kit that Lunati recommended to go with that cam. Yeah, it's in focus. And I tell you, they're double nested. I guess nested. I don't know if it's double nested, but they're pretty nice. So I've got the part number for this transmission kit too, because you will need a transmission. You will need a transmission. I hate to break it to you, but your 250,000 mile 4L60E that hasn't had a fluid change since your grandpa bought it in 1995, it's not gonna work when you start pushing 15 pounds of boost through a V6, because when you start putting a turbo on this thing, you're gonna make some power. Whether you like it or not, you're gonna make some power.